Good morning, everyone. Today we'll take up first chapter from India, People and Economy. In this chapter, the topics like distribution of population, census, density of population, growth of population, regional variation in population growth, population composition, composition of working population, and social campaign. All these are given here. Today is the first day or day one. We'll take up or you can say that we'll cover only three topics like distribution of population, census and density of population. Okay. Now, let me tell you something about the population of India, that distribution of population. Before discussing with you the distribution of population, let me tell you something, that population plays a vital role in the development of any country, and in spite of having seventh position in terms of area, as we all know, 2.4%, India is the second largest country in terms of population after which country? After China. Okay, having 17.5% population of the world. According to Census 2011, India's total population is 1.2 plus million. Okay. Now, how population is distribution? How population is distributed? Population is distributed in our country unevenly. Okay. But why? Why is it so? There is one question, that why the population is unevenly distributed. What are the factors which influence the distribution of population? But before discussing those factors, let me tell you that as population distribution is uneven in our country, and some states are highly populated or densely populated states, some are moderate and some are low or sparsely populated states. Okay. Now, let us move to the factors affecting the distribution of population. The population, as we know, that the population of India is distributed unevenly. On the one hand, there are densely populated or mega cities, industrial centers, highly productive agricultural areas, while on the other hand, that extreme are extreme are the mountainous areas, arid and semi-arid deserts, okay, and dense forest with very few people living there. Okay. And there are factors like religious factors, transport communication factors, physiographic factors, or you can say physical factors, social factors, economic factors. These factors play a very important role uh, in the distribution of population, and this is your mind map 1. Now, let us discuss the factors like physical factors. Relief, that would be one. The high relief, uneven terrain, steep slope of land generally deter people from settling in such areas. On the other hand, the flat terrain of the plains attracts people. It is easier to build houses and develop means of transport in plain areas, and such areas are suitable for agriculture and farming also. Hence, more people in plain areas of North India and the coastal plains, they live. More and more people live. Now, second physical factors would be your climate. That the climate must be very suitable for habitation. What type of climate? The people would not prefer extreme type of climate, and we know that on the earth's surface there are different types of climates, and you cannot see that all the climates have same type of population distribution. Temperature and precipitation are the major climatic elements that affect the density of population. Okay. Now, the severe climate acts as a negative factor for habitation, while suitable climate attracts people. And in India, the distribution of rainfall is an important factor, due to which what happens that our agricultural economy of the country run. So it is often said that the distribution of precipitation in India is an what is an index of the spatial distribution of spatial, here means spatial, SPATIAL, related to space. So what is that? Spatial distribution of population. Hence, rainier areas like West Bengal have a higher density of population than drier areas like Punjab and Haryana have low population. Now, another physical factors could be your water supply. Water is essential for human settlements. It is used for various purposes, including domestic uses and irrigation. So, rivers are important sources of water, and the valleys are generally rich in fertile soils also. Hence, most of the river valleys of India are densely populated. That was your physiographic factors. Now move to the social factors. What about the social factors? This also plays an important role. Settled agriculture. Early man lived in nomadic life of hunter-gatherer, obtaining his food from his environment. Right? About 10,000 years ago, man learned to grow crops and took to settle life. So agricultural fields were often or on near the river banks where arable land was easily available. Hence, such areas are settled by larger number of people even today. Now, you can say that the economic, or let us discuss about the economic factors. What about the economic factors? The economic factors include your fertility of soil and minerals, and then it also includes your resource development like fertility of soil. Floodplains where soil is replenished every year or year after year by deposition of sediments are the most preferred areas for farming populations. And we know that our country is, or more than 65% of the people are still dependent on agriculture. The floodplains, coastal areas and delta regions of Ganga Brahmaputra have high concentration of population on account of this factor. Now second one is your minerals. The minerals are unevenly distributed. Few states in our country have the high or the large concentration of minerals, right? Rich deposits of minerals like coal, iron, ore have also attracted human settlements. People move to even inhospitable areas in search of precious minerals. Parts of Jharkhand, this is the best example. Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh have higher densities of population due to this factor. Now, you can see that the transport and communication. The transport and communication factors, of course, play a very important role. Like you can see that there is a good network of transport and communication wherever in our country there is a good network of transport and communication. You can see that human settlement, the development of the human settlement have taken place. Okay, and the concentration of population remains high because of an early history of human settlement and development of transport network. On the other hand, you can say that the urban regions of Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Bengaluru, Pune, then Chennai, Jaipur have high concentration of population due to industrial development and urbanization, drawing a large numbers of rural and urban migrants. Okay, so that was about your factors affecting the distribution of population. Now let us go to the second topic, that's your census. What is the census? What's the objective of census? Census, what is this? It's a process of collecting, compiling, analyzing and disseminating and social, cultural and economic data relating to all persons in the country. And you must be knowing this thing that it is conducted after every 10 years. Why? To count all people living in the country. And first census in India that was conducted in 1872, but complete census was conducted in 1881. Okay, since then the census takes place or is conducted after every 10 years. And one very important thing about census is that from census to census that the techniques have been changing with a view to improve the accuracy and quality of the data without losing compatibility from one census to another. Now there is one question that why first census in India that took place in 1872 that was not complete one, that was incomplete. The reason was that it did not cover all territories which was possessed or was controlled by the British. Now there is one mind map which you can see that since 1872 to till date, I mean the last census 2011, that the census conducted in these years. Okay. Now usually the questions are not asked from here census, but maybe if it comes, then in which year it was conducted and according to the last census was the total population of India, this type of question is being asked. Now let us move to the another topic, that the density of population. What is that density of population? Okay, the density of population is in fact that is expressed, in fact density of population is expressed as number of persons per unit area. Why is it so? Because it helps in getting a better understanding of spatial distribution of population in relation to land. Okay, and in relation to land, as just now I told you. But you may I ask one question to you, that how density of population is calculated? To calculate the density of population, what will you do at first? You will divide the population by the size of area. Thus, population density would be that number of people, or population density or density of population is equal to number of people divided by what? Land area. Okay, and the units of land area should be either square miles or square kilometers. Then you know children, one very important thing about density of population. What is the ideal density of population? The ideal density of population would lie in between 50 to 100 persons per square kilometer. Okay. Now there are some factors which influence the density of population. Here, as you can look at this, or you just see the mind map 3, topography or terrain, soil and climate. Now, what about this terrain or topography? Terrain of land is an important factor which influences the concentration and growth of population. Normally, that the plain areas encourage higher density of population as compared to mountainous regions. The steep slope in mountain areas restrict the availability of land for what? For farming or agriculture, development of transport, industries and other economic activities which may lead to or tend to discourage concentration of what? Population and its proper growth. That was your topography or terrain factor. Okay. Now let us move to the second factor, that's your soil. Soil is an important factor in determining the density of population in an overwhelming agricultural country like India. That plays a very important role, because fertile soil supports higher population density, while infertile soil leads to low density. Can you give me example? You have to write down in your notebook. Okay. Now, in the northern plain of India, the soil is regularly enriched by annual floods of the great rivers like Ganga, Brahmaputra, isn't it? And their tributaries. So here the agriculture is, or you can say that the farming goes on every time. Okay. Now another one is soil. So that's what I just now told you about the soil. That soil also plays a very important role as far as the concentration of population is concerned. Now the third one in your here in mind map is given about climate. Climate is as important as terrain or soil in influencing population. Of all the climatic factors, twin elements of rain and temperature play the most important role in determining the population of an area. You know why? Because climate is not same everywhere, or the different types of climates are found on the earth's surface, and the people would not prefer to live in those areas which are quite extreme or has extreme type of climate, right. So man cannot go beyond the limits set by what? Set by climate. Extremes of climate discourage the concentration of population, as you all know. Such climates include too cold or too hot or too dry, like too cold of Himalayas, too hot and dry climate of Thar desert. So what type of climate is or is conducive? A moderate type of climate on the other hand is favorable for population. So of the twin factors of rainfall and temperature, rainfall is more affecting in determining the distribution of population. It is generally said that the population map of India follows its rainfall map, and rainfall supplies sufficient water for agriculture because it is always required, and India is an agricultural country which requires rain, and you know that we are dependent, Indian farmers are dependent on rainfall, which is the main, and the farming or agriculture is the main occupation of Indian masses, right. As we move from Ganga, Brahmaputra delta in the east towards the Thar desert in the west, the amount of rainfall and consequently the density of population decreases. So there is a quite relation, and there is a very important relation between the amount of rainfall and the density of or simply the concentration of population. That's all for today. We have seen and we have taken three topics: distribution of population, factors affecting distribution of population, census and density of population, in which what is density of population and the factors affecting the density of population. Tomorrow we will discuss the types of density of population. Okay. Now there are few questions which I have given you, and you should do it in your notebook. That's all for today.